Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, formerly the United States of America. Currently, I don't know what this open border BS is, but my name's Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And my green screen is not working. It's causing all sorts of problems. Good times. Today is Thursday, July the 27th. 2023. We are going to get into all of the important news of the day, including Hunter Biden's plea deal that's fallen apart. Is it to protect him or is it to protect Joe? Should the Republicans impeach Joe in order to keep the House majority? Should it be illegal for government to use big tech for censorship? Should the feds drop charges on Sam Bankman-Fried? Yeah, the bank man has been freed. I mean, this is the simulation laughing at us, folks. This is just ridiculous. He's the bank man who is being freed. Give me a break. Also, musician Sinead O'Connor. Was she a monster or a martyr? Mitch McConnell, another double M, Mitch McConnell here. Should he step down for all of the reasons? For being a terrible human, a terrible politician, and a super old, decrepit, incapable human, maybe sort of some of that. And should Ron DeSantis end his presidential campaign after staff layoffs? All these and more on today's program. By the way, Blake, I think we need to shorten our minute and a half intro down to something that's 6 seconds so that it could go bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum. All right, we're back. But I don't want to play a 90-second intro, but I would love to. But we're still working on it. It's fantastic, but it's long form. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good, I guess, all considering. Yeah, not bad. It's great to be here. Sorry for late. We're trying to get Brian's tech difficulties out of the way with his computer. He's running this off an old Atari or something. It's not picking up the green screen very well, but we've had some weird delays. So.
Well, but to be fair, like I'm if I could just make this flat, because it was wavering. There was this much space in between it. And I just push pinned up at the top to bring it back up against a flat surface. I was looking on the screen, and when I go like this, it turns into a perfect green screen, just like you have behind you.
Yeah.
And whenever I tried to run it, then I went on like a 15-second delay, and I can't even. It's the most ridiculous crap. I don't know what's going on. My computer's capable. What am I supposed to look at? Let me see.
Brian's got like something. He's got like 2 megs of RAM running that laptop. It's on an old MacBook Air.
I have 30 gigs available on my hard drive. What else am I supposed to look at?
Of the RAM.
Okay. How do I find that? Where's that? Overview? System report?
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. Settings, something.
Storage? I don't know. I don't know. Just okay.
Hello, everybody. Anyway. Well, we'll figure it out, but we'll get there and get Brian up to speed here, get his computer going, and we'll get that in sync. All right. But meanwhile, we got a lot of major stories.
Exactly. And hello to everybody
Timothy Hanlon.
What's that?
I said hello, Timothy Hanlon and Kenneth, and anybody else lurking out there or watching in the archive later, the replay.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us.
On the agree to disagree. So we'll be posing the questions, and you can play along, or you can help drive the show as well.
Yeah, we want you to post. Tell us the stories that we should be covering that we haven't. I think, Blake, when you left, Jocelyn said we need to be covering that story of the 3 Marines that were found killed at the base. It's been on my radar. I've heard a couple blips, but I'm not as certain about that story. I need to dig in, but you help us drive the news. So tell us the stories that we're not covering, and if they're important, we want to try to get to them. So let's start with today's number 1 topic, numero uno. All right. So the number 1 story of the day has got to be Hunter Biden, of course. And I love that quote. I love the quote from Barack Hussein Obama, who said, never underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. Joe and his son, very similar. Look at how Joe's dog is behaving and think about how Joe's other dog is behaving in Hunter. Completely reared incorrectly. abused, mistreated, neglected, and then they'd become menaces to society under his tutelage. The man is a monster. I am not parsing my words today, Blake. He's the creepiest, child-sniffingest, most corruptestest person that has ever graced 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue's fake stage studio thing in a Delaware basement next to piles of illegal documents that Joe Biden should have never had because he was vice president, not president, but they were unclassified documents that he had no right to have sitting next to the convertible that his crackhead son is out gallivanting around, probably with prostitutes, perhaps, or with underage kids. So yes, Biden's dog bites people, and Hunter is just tanking his presidency. Karma is a beaut. It ain't karma's a bitch. Karma's a beaut. So, Blake, walk us through this. What do we know about the latest here? Hunter Biden's plea deal. Do you agree or disagree? It's not to protect him. It's to protect Joe.
Yeah, it seems like this could be a strategic play. I am not a legal expert, but I will cover these stories. And I basically ripped this headline out of the Federalist from John Daniel Davidson. Hunter Biden's plea deal wasn't supposed to protect him. It was supposed to protect Joe. So the plea agreement fell apart yesterday when Hunter's lawyers realized they wouldn't grant broad immunity for other potential crimes. So the twists and turns of Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal have been hard to follow. But it's been clear from the outset that, like his business ventures in Ukraine, the deal was thoroughly corrupt. And it's now clear that the agreement was never meant primarily to shield Hunter from future prosecution, but to protect President Joe Biden. So in the Delaware federal court, Hunter's lawyers ended up rejecting a plea deal once it became clear the deal would not confer broad immunity on the president's son. Although the language of the plea deal has not been released, it was supposed to have Hunter plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of just, willful failure to pay federal income tax, as well as enter a pretrial diversion agreement for the illegal possession of a firearm. But the deal fell apart when the federal judge, Mary Ellen Noriega, started asking questions. So
what questions did the judge ask? Like what? That's the part I'm trying to understand. So the judge is asking questions claiming that the plea deal doesn't protect Hunter enough, that it's really just to protect Joe, or it's that she's claiming that it's way too much of a sweetheart deal. Like I'm looking at this, trying to break it down and understand exactly how we got here.
Me as well. So we're all going to walk through this all together. So the judge was questioning whether the agreement meant that Mr. Biden would be immune from prosecution for other possible crimes, including violations related to representing foreign governments in perpetuity. And when a top prosecutor in the case said that it would not, Mr. Biden's lead lawyer initially hesitated and then said the government's position would make the agreement null and void. So, what do we make of this? The most obvious explanation is that Hunter's lawyers know what most Americans know. He was involved in complex foreign bribery schemes that implicate his father, and they were hoping to strike a plea agreement with the Justice Department that would protect him from future prosecution related to corrupt foreign business deals in Ukraine and China. But once it became clear that the judge was not going to sign off on the agreement, they backed out of the deal.
So the judge made it clear that they weren't going to support it because, I guess that's the part the judge wasn't going to do it because so then they backed out because it wasn't good enough. And they're trying to renegotiate. It said, no, we thought that this covered a wide range of, like, in perpetuity, like all of the things I've done prior to July 27th, 2023. This covers everything. And our client Hunter is never going to be allowed to be prosecuted for anything. And the judge said, yeah, that's hilariously inaccurate. And they said, well, then we recant. We pull our acceptance of said deal off the table. I don't know. I'm a little confused by the exact specifics here, but either way, the deal's dead, right?
Yeah, this deal is done. It's going to be a long time before anything comes out of it, apparently. And maybe maybe they're kind of stonewalling it as well so that they can avoid other problems legal problems for the family. So here's a minor thread here from Margot Cleveland, who's also a great writer at the Federalist. Says, so I'm assuming everyone has figured the Hunter Biden plea agreement scam out, right? The Department of Justice enters broadly worded agreement with Hunter that can be read to prohibit future prosecution, but keeps the agreement secret so no one can point it out. But publicly says it's still under investigation, but privately winks and nods at Hunter's attorneys. Then, if any future charges are forced, Hunter's attorneys can point to ambiguous language and say it prevents prosecution. And since courts must read, ambiguity in favor of defendant Hunter is unclear. So
it was written intentionally ambiguously so that it could do things that it didn't say that it did. And the judge is like, hey, hold on a second. This isn't saying what you're going to claim it could. Like, we're going to clarify some of this. And they're like, no. No, we wrote it. No. We wrote it specifically so that we could come back and the judge is like, yeah, no. And they're like, shit. Then pull it off the table. I guess it's not a deal. But isn't this deal better than no deal? That's the part I don't know. Isn't it?
This whole thing came apart and it's got really weird. And now nobody knows what's going on, or we're just trying to unravel this because this judge was also pretty upset because there were some crazy shenanigans that happened, which I am going to pull up as well. And it's Hunter Biden's lawyers a couple days prior. They claim they faked a phone call attempt to remove papers from the court docket. And they said it was just unfortunate and unintentional miscommunication after the judge threatened to sanction them on the eve of the plea deal hearing. So the judge is pissed, and I'm going to.
So what is fake? What is the fake phone call?
Dude, you got to check this out. Here, we're going to play this from the Jesse Waters show. Hunter Biden's plea deal now in jeopardy after his attorneys tried to pull a fast one on the judge. On the eve of his day in court, Hunter's lawyers called the courthouse clerk pretending to be a Republican attorney and then told the clerk, our bad, we didn't really mean to file all that whistleblower stuff. So they were trying to take that stuff away, take it out of the public record. It's amazing. So let's run some of this clip.
Oh my God.
And Hunter Biden may have just jinxed the...
Really?
What?
Oh, it's not.
What kind of computer are you running over there? But like, how much RAM do you have?
It's my internet. No, I got 32 gigs of RAM. It's my Starlink satellite.
Biden's son is set to appear in court tomorrow.
Really?
Well, if you send me the clip, I could play it if you need me to. Just don't ask me to get a green
Judge
screen.
Mary Ellen Norica will decide on whether or
yeah, I might have to.
not to sign off on Hunter's plea deal. And Hunter Biden may have just jinxed the deal. You're not going to believe what he just did. Republican Congressman Jason Smith just filed a brief with the judge, entering into evidence the IRS whistleblower testimony. Basically a legal move to get the judge to think, you know what? Are you really going to let this guy off so easy?
Yep. Well, looks like my internet will not comply with that. Brian, you might have to take over from there. This is important, and it's hilarious. And it's just shocking at the highest levels that the president's son and his legal team are going to try something like this. This is like something you would see in a movie, not in real life. So I sent you the clip on the private chat. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I grabbed it. I'm pulling it up here on Twitter. This is what happens when you have a spoiled brat kid that does what he wants, gets away with whatever he wants, nonstop, right? How else could attorneys be? I mean, you should lose your law license for this, right?
Yeah, it could be disbarred for something like that. Like it could have some major implications. That's probably part of the reason why the judge was freaking out. Gave him a hard time, I guess, too, trying to tell him that he had to get seek employment and he had to face some conditions.
He has to seek employment.
Yep. Well, that'll be easy for him. They'll get some big Democratic donor to pay him to do nothing.
Yeah, go sit on another board like Burisma. All right, let me. I have it here. Let me
Pull up like 32 seconds or something.
Play 32 seconds.
Try to
All
roll
right,
some
let
more
me.
of that clip.
Where do I? There we go. Share screen. Oh my gosh, get employment. Could you imagine someone like Hunter Biden trying to do a day's, do an honest week's work anywhere?
No, he's so spoiled and entitled, he wouldn't know what to do. It'd be like Billy Madison, but a lot worse, but more of like the awful degenerate version.
Billy Madison.
Well, he was kind of
look
a
at
degenerate.
look at
but he
those
cleaned
nice
up.
straight white teeth. Isn't it like his teeth are all rotted out of his skull, right?
Oh
Those
yeah,
are all-
they've had the old ones where he got the crack pipe. Yeah, his teeth are like he's got like meth addict teeth.
yeah. Everything about the Bidens is fake. Everything about this air quote administration is fake. Here we go.
Hunter Biden's plea deal is now in jeopardy.
Can you hear it?
President Joe Biden's son is set here in court tomorrow, where Delaware Judge Mary Ellen Noreika will decide on whether or not to sign off on Hunter's plea deal. And Hunter Biden may have just jinxed the deal. You're not going to believe what he just did. Republican Congressman Jason Smith filed with the judge, entering evidence the IRS whistleblower testimony. Basically a legal move to get the judge to think, you know what, are you really going to let this guy off so easy? And Hunter Biden's attorney called the courthouse clerk today and pretended to be a Republican attorney and told the clerk, oops, you know what, we didn't really mean to file all that whistleblower stuff. Can you guys just strike that from the record? Seriously, Hunter Biden's lawyer made a phony phone call to the court and tried to remove the whistleblower testimony. He called and impersonated the opposing lawyer. Hey, this is a Republican attorney Chris Clark. Oh, never mind that amicus brief. Just forget about it. That was an accident. Good day, young lady.
Good day.
Was this Hunter's Sugar Brothers idea? You know, the one who was ripping bong hits off his balcony in Malibu?
I said good day, sir. I said good day. Did you want me to continue with this, or?
I think we could probably cut it there.
Okay.
But it's quite the development in that one, and it's just getting weird. So, getting back to the major article I was discussing, we know the FBI and Justice Department not only prevented a pair of IRS whistleblowers from learning of the document, but also kept hidden portions of materials found on Hunter's laptop. And just saying, as this story develops here with the latest ongoings, it's becoming obvious that the point of the FBI's and Department of Justice obstruction is to protect the president and suppress further evidence of the Biden bribery scheme. That's why a special counsel won't cut it. The deep state isn't going to get to the bottom of this, and the corporate press is going to keep aggressively ignoring it. If the federal courtroom circus on Wednesday demonstrated anything, it's that we're going to need an impeachment inquiry to find out the truth about President Biden's corruption. So this has got something to do with preventing the, making a deal or just dragging this thing out and protecting the Biden family. So, yeah, it's a lot of legal trickery.
We're about 2.5 years late on starting this impeachment inquiry. This has been insane from the beginning.
But now the evidence is just piled up. Now we have to.
But the evidence was always there to anyone that cared to look at it. It was always there. Hunter's laptop always existed.
Right.
If you want to believe the lying by the way, we're not even talking about UFOs in today's show stack. But I saw, who was it? Comey?
James Clapper. It was
Clapper.
James,
That's what I knew. It wasn't Comey. It was Clapper sitting behind him in the UFO hearings. I mean, there's real things we should be talking about in this country, and we're doing this Biden thing. Okay. So the deal fell apart.
The alien thing, I don't know if that's just all a big distraction, and they got like the worst people up there to represent. And and Mike Baer has been pointing this out. He's been doing a great job covering this and also pointing out, it's kind of ruins the credibility when you have somebody like Clapper or AOC present, and then some of the biggest hacks in the alien disclosure movement. So they're not really trying anything, and it's, it's just more of the same. They tease us with a little bit of disclosure stuff, and then nothing ever happens. And nobody's credible, and then it gets buried. So
Jocelyn is saying if the Department of Justice acceptance of this deal is not an indication of how corrupt and incompetent they are, there isn't an indicator. She's saying clearly this was a criminal enterprise concocted and implemented by Joe Biden. He put the plan together. Son and his friends, they were part of it. Yeah. What does it say? Hunter is self-employed as it cuts off
an artist.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Blake, can you read that comment? It says AR. I can't read artist. It just says R.
I can't see anything on the main screen. I have to look at the admin chat overlay, because I don't see
the
it.
admin chat overlay. It stops with "Hey UFO." I don't see anything that Jocelyn's writing in there. I'm telling you, I'm getting glitches on top of glitches over here. By the way, why don't you plug your other show with Mike Barra? Tell people where to check that one out.
We do show's called we changed the name a few times. It's
Change
Friday
the name.
Night Power Trio right now. Yes, and that's with me and Mike Barra and Dr. Brooks Agnew. It's every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's the one of the best roundtable shows on the web, maybe the top one. So we'll have to tune in tomorrow to get the full rundown of what's going on with that all those alien hearings.
So how do you find it? You search Power Trio, Mike Barra. Where do you find it?
You can always find the archive on my website, The Next Level News. But you can probably follow me on Twitter, TV's Blake Walley, and follow Mike Barra on Twitter as well, or Dr. Brooks Agnew. We all are pretty active on there and put out some good content. So you can find it there. You can go to MikeBarra.blogspot.com. Also, the show runs there. It's on all the platforms. And we have a few drinks, have a little fun, sometimes mix it up a little bit. But we definitely stick a lot to the hard news. And there's a
Friday
lot of
night drunk
stories
time
this week. Yeah, kind of,
as Kenneth says. Okay. Well, yes, make sure you check that out. Also, tell them where to find you on Twitter.
TV's Blake Walley.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Well, let's transition this into our second story. All right. So this is, a continuation of the Biden. I don't know what we like alliterations here. There's bombshell, but what's, I don't know, something with a B. I don't know. The Biden train wreck.
Biden bribery.
Yeah, Biden bribery train wreck.
Boondoggle.
Biden boondoggle. So agree or disagree, Blake?
Republicans boondoggle. Right. All right.
Who's boondoggle? Barber?
I don't know.
Okay. Republicans must impeach Joe in order to keep the House majority, Blake. Agree or disagree? Republicans must impeach Joe in order to keep the House majority.
I think they have to, for a variety of different reasons. But that's also another headline that I ripped off from the Federalist from Sean Fleetwood. If Republicans want to keep their House majority, they must impeach Joe Biden. And as more damning evidence emerges implicating Biden in an alleged $10 million international bribery scheme, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has started floating the idea of impeaching the sitting president. So the predicate for impeaching Biden is certainly warranted. Not only does they have the form containing claims from highly credible, confidential human source, how then Vice President was instrumental in the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor investigating the energy company Burisma that his son was a board member of. It also shows how the Bidens were purportedly paid $10 million for Joe's role in firing of said prosecutor.
And Blake, remember,
like a bounty. Yeah.
The Democrats then impeached our president, the last American president selected by the people, President Donald John Trump. They impeached Donald Trump, President Trump, America's president, Donald Trump, impeached him because he called out the Biden family corruption with Burisma in Ukraine that he was laughing about. Well, son of a bitch. And they took him out, and son of a bitch. He's laughing about it. The audience is laughing about it. It is corruption of the highest level. It's treasonous because it's led us to the doorsteps of a nuclear World War III with that same stupid country nobody cares about, Ukraine. Not that they're stupid or that we don't care, but I mean, in the greater concept of American politics, that's not on our radar. We don't care. The only reason we care is because of the Biden family corruption over there. And he's dead to rights. This isn't a vast right-wing Republican conspiracy, as the Clinton crime family machine used to say about any Republicans in the Newt Gingrich, Rush Limbaugh era, pointing out all the criminality of the Clintons. This is legitimate, open, in your face, easily verifiable, in Joe's own fucking words situation. There's no, things are finally being revealed. We've known this for 3-4, how many years ago did that tape come out? It's been completely known. So let's see what happens with McCarthy. Does he have the stones to follow through? Because isn't McCarthy one of those guys that hates President Trump and he's a unipartyist? I don't know exactly. I know that they've taken multiple phone calls from us to get the footage from January 6th that he fucking promised to release that footage, and he still hasn't done it. He needs to be removed from his speakership role if he's not going to release that footage and release it quick. Sorry, Blake, continue on what you were reading through the story there. I just had a moment of something to add, and then I couldn't stop talking. I still can't, but I will now.
Oh, no worries. I only moved it because we didn't have us in the frame there. It was kind of strange. All that just text, big walls of white paper and text. So let's get back real quick. Now, some Republicans may argue that impeachment is a political failure waiting to happen, given that a conviction by Democratic-controlled Senate is highly unlikely. But that rationale didn't stop House Democrats from impeaching former President Trump twice. And it wouldn't stop them from going after any future Republican president either. Now, getting to that point, Brian, furthermore, impeaching Biden is more than just a trial. Because we know all this stuff. But do our Democrats friends, do they know about it? Our family members that we've been estranged from, do they know what's going on? Probably not, because the media keeps them in a bubble. So by putting him on trial, by bringing this impeachment out, you would force the media to cover it. It's about exposing the American people to the Biden family corruption that legacy media have worked so hard to hide. And is equally important, showing Democrats that Republicans are just as willing to fight political fire with political fire. So
we have to. I've had debates and discussion. We're not supposed to stoop to their level, this and that. And it's like, you're getting friggin' destroyed out there. You're getting destroyed. This is a fight for life and death. There are 3 monkeys trying to get up onto that ark. There's a second and third monkey. It's us and it's them. The 3 elephants, 3 rhinos, or 3 donkeys, whatever. Pick your animal, because some people hate talking about monkeys for some reason. It's the most ridiculous thing. Anyway, I mean, if we don't, and I say we very loosely, Blake, you are not Republican. I am not Republican. We have tendencies and leanings, and a lot of the libertarian aspects that sometimes end up on the Republican side of things are places we land. We know what we're not. We are not this current Democrat Party at all. You've described yourself as a classical liberal, much like Dave Rubin and, Bill Maher sometimes tries to do, but he's more dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. He pretends, but we know he's atheist. But I say the term we very loosely, but the non-Democrats have got to fight like hell, just like President Trump said on January 6th, peacefully and patriotically, but fight like hell and do what they're doing. They impeached President Trump twice over nothing. How about impeach this guy once over everything? It's all sitting there. The corruption is easily identifiable and verifiable.
Oh, absolutely. So actually, speaking of which, I know I got a couple more quick articles to cover on that. Well, there is the first impeachment of Donald Trump, and that was abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. And that's exactly what you were saying, foreign interference. Yes, on the invitation of the White House, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to influence Ukraine to announce an investigation into Trump's political opponent. But yeah, so if they can do this against Trump, then it should be absolutely fair game to go after Biden. And clearly we have him dead to rights. We actually have him on video. So
in his own words, his own words, never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to fuck things up. Maybe the only smart thing former President Barack Hussein Obama has ever said.
Well, he was a sharp guy. He was just so deceptive, and he got everybody he just completely radicalized the Democratic Party.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. No, thanks.
Yeah,
no, I don't like any of that. Nope.
It's an evil genius.
Meanwhile, 7 million people from parts unknown have flooded into this country to totally flip states. Is there anything being done to reverse this? I mean, Obama's getting his wish as the de facto third term right now. He's running in the background everything he's wanted to see to just fundamentally destroy the United States of America. Oh, do you have Shifty Schiff on there? That little weasel? What's he doing? Liar? Schiff.
Well, no, this was a hilarious clip because serial liar Adam Schiff, he was lashing out at McCarthy and House Republicans just for floating an impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden. So McCarthy said this week that House of Representatives is readying the impeachment of Biden. And he said, quote, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, something we haven't seen since Richard Nixon used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny congressional oversight. This gets weird, but let's just get into Adam Schiff talking about this, saying that we don't have evidence to impeach Biden.
I think the Republican desire to impeach someone, anyone, no matter whether there's any evidence, just shows how they have descended into chaos.
Wow, just the lack of self-awareness there.
Who was he talking? Was he talking with Ivory Hecker? It looked like her, at least.
I doubt it, but
it looked like her.
I think the Republican
a little bit like her. But yeah, somebody did from Fox Business, giving him a little interview. And
so
it's
can't Schiff be impeached? Like Schiff has perpetrated one of the biggest frauds in congressional history on the American people for years, drumming up anti-presidential, anti-American sentiment based on complete lies over and over and over again. This wasn't a mistake. It was very intentional. Schiff was censured, but can he be kicked out of Congress? Like, this man deserves to be kicked out of Congress, tarred and feathered.
He should be recalled, but I don't think he represents like Burbank in California, and they're super liberal, and there's probably no way that they would. And they wouldn't even look at the evidence, and they would never see the evidence. So I think that's a great pointer of that Federalist article. By impeaching, you force maybe these media outlets to cover some of this stuff. They need to see that footage of Biden in the CFR bragging about firing the prosecutor. I mean, how do you dismiss that? I don't understand. I mean, if something like that happened with Trump, I would have to distance myself. But I don't know whether these Democrats are just useful idiots or they're just being misled by the media. It's probably a combination of both, but it's pretty sad. So yeah, here's just Adam Schiff. He's impeaching President Trump over this phone call, and it's amazing. And he ran that whole investigation knowing he was lying, and then when he gets called out on this stuff, then he does this. It's amazing.
I think the Republican desire to impeach someone, anyone, no matter whether there's any evidence, just shows how they have descended into chaos.
That's after running 2 impeachment hearings and the whole Miller sham investigation. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I talked over you. Descending into chaos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. The guy ran it. Yeah. Help with the orchestration of that whole Miller thing. 2 years, how many millions of dollars, 2 impeachments. And then the Republicans are just looking for an excuse to impeach Joe Biden. Yeah, give me a break.
How blackmailed do you think this creep is?
Oh, he totally is. They have some weird stuff that happened at the Standard
Epstein
Hotel. We won't get into the conspiracy theories because it's pretty disturbing.
Pretty disturbing. You've seen the painting of him as well, dressed like a baby. Where's that one from?
I don't know. I don't know if that's legit or not, but there's some creepy stuff going on, and he's absolutely compromised. Wasn't there, even going down that rabbit hole, wasn't there something to do with Anthony Bourdain getting caught up in that and getting whacked because he had to, he saw too much? Another chef getting killed.
Well, I do know that he hates the Clintons, and he definitely came out and said that.
Right.
The other stuff,
some people, I don't know if it's any truth to it or not, but rumors that he was at that hotel or something and saw a shift, but that could be totally made up. So take it with a grain of salt.
Jocelyn here saying, what about Mayorkas or Garland or Ray? They all need to be impeached. Yes. What the are we waiting for? I am not
gearing up.
It's the largest sting operation in the history of mankind. Cool. In the meantime, impeach them. In the meantime, throw them in jail. In the meantime, set an example. In the meantime, do something. This whole, I trust the plan, just hang out. No. Like, it's got to reveal in due time. You can't tell the people everything at once. Shut up. Do something. Do it all. Ray, Garland, Mayorkas, Biden, Schiff, get them all. What are we waiting? Well, why stop an enemy when they're incriminating themselves?
Destroying themselves. Right.
We already have all the information. There's nothing else to wait on. Go, fucking go. Go, move, do something. Like, what are we? Like, it's all on the table. All the cards are flipped up. Was it what's that game, Asshole, where you're playing poker and you put the card on your forehead? And so, like, they can see your cards, or what? Oh, maybe
I forget what that one's called. That's a different one.
Or just say it's Texas Hold'em. You've moved all in. All right, flip your cards up. Okay, now we can all see what's going on. All the cards are flipped up. We see it all right now. Go.
Yeah, we've been saying this for a couple of years. I didn't think we'd still be talking about this. Thought something would happen by now.
Don't worry, Kenneth assures us it's a coming. Okay, cool.
Well,
anything else on this one?
That's the reference. Yeah. Well, it looks like they're going to do it. Maybe it's not completely official yet, but it seems to be leaning in that direction. And maybe it's time for the Democrats to just flush this guy, flush the Biden family. It's a liability.
It's going to end up.
Do they want to go down with it? Could you imagine trying to defend this guy and his family? Still,
they've been doing it for 2.5 years.
Right. But at what point do you realize that the evidence is so overwhelming that you just can't anymore? And you
it always has been overwhelming evidence.
Yeah. Well, no, that not people knew about it.
We knew about it.
No, this Burisma, all this $10 million bribery, that stuff that's been pulled up by Comer.
Minimum $10 million. Right. Way bigger than 10 million.
Oh yeah, that's just for the Burisma thing. That's only for the Burisma. There's so much more when it goes into the Chinese deals and all that. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of stuff. Oh yeah, should be dead to rights. Should be easy, cut and dry.
Should be. Okay, cool.
Should be.
All right, cool. Well, don't worry. Kenneth says it's a coming. All right.
I thought Hillary was going to go down for, Benghazi. That didn't happen.
Oh. What difference, Blake, at this point does it make?
Right. She got away with it. And
all right, Blakenstein. Keeping in the theme of things that people are getting away with or trying to get away with, do you agree or disagree that it should be illegal for government to use big tech for censorship?
100% agree. And this story came out before the big breaking news from Jim Jordan. So they were going to hold Zuckerberg in contempt for the Facebook stuff.
Please.
And they finally got some of the documents. So they've released it. So it's like their own Twitter files. Now they've got the Facebook files. I think it just came out about 3 hours ago. So let me pull up some of it.
Goody.
Now, first, it started with this article out of Summit News that I was checking out. Mitt Romney arguing that it shouldn't be illegal for government to use big tech for censorship.
Who is this Romney guy? He's also said that he's thinking about leaving the Republican Party, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I've heard the rumblings. I've heard the
Is he going to
rumblings.
retire? I'm not sure.
No,
what
no,
he
no.
would-
He's going to officially become a Democrat. He's never been. Yeah, these
Oh.
rhinos like Romney and McCain, these fake Republicans, the Jeb Bushes, George Bushes, they're New World Order hacks.
Yeah, he might as well. He's always been considered the a liberal, moderate Republican, and yeah. So and
Would
he's
you
just
guess
deep
that he's
state party
a
goon.
stand-up? Would you guess that Mitt Romney is a stand-up and decent man, or would you guess that he's got massive, whopping skeletons in that prim and proper closet of his?
Oh, I'm sure they've got massive problems.
Because
I
he's
won't
so
get down into the
cartoonishly willing to join the party line when it's impeaching Trump and everything ridiculous that the Dems have done. He almost always sides with them, almost as if, hello, Mitt. Hi, it's me, your handler. Remember that picture over in Provo, that hotel room? Remember? Right. We're going to need you to, here's the statement we want you to read on the news tomorrow. We've set up the interview for 3:15. Are we okay? All right. Just a reminder. This has been your handler.
It would. I think that probably does happen in many cases, or they get a phone call, or it's probably a lot of these journalists or what have you.
He also strikes me as someone that could easily be a candidate for being one of the robot or lizard people wearing skin suits pretending to be human representatives. He's awkward enough where he could be like the robot prototype or the reptilian underneath pretending to be human.
Cyborg.
He's been pretending to be Republican for decades. I mean, it's not much of a leap to think that he might be, like Zuckerberg. Right.
Right. No, absolutely. No, he's dirty. He's one of the worst of the deep state swamp creatures. So he had an exchange going back and forth with Rand Paul, who's a advocate for free speech in the Constitution, which is refreshing these days. But let's pull up some of the breaking news. So I found this tweet here from DC Drano saying the Facebook files have dropped, and they show the Biden regime putting constant pressure on Facebook and Instagram to censor memes. This future class action lawsuit will be delightful. And he says he will be front and center. And hopefully, Brian, you will get in on that. Oh,
my God. A laundry list. I shared a meme on Instagram. It was a three panel of a Simpsons where it was Ned Flanders continuing to talk as Homer got annoyed with him and pressed the button and the garage door started coming down. Yeah. And Ned Flanders is moving his head and and at the very end it says, vote blue no matter who. Just a goofy little cartoon. I shared it. It was linked to Facebook. Zap. They erased the New American Media Facebook page. Never got an explanation. Never got a chance to remedy any alleged issue. We shared a meme and they deleted our company page. I cannot wait to join this class action lawsuit. And I don't want to hear Zuckerberg. Well, I was feeling a lot of pressure. I was smoking my meats, and the CIA, they just kept contacting me, and I was just trying to smoke some meats, and then I had the FBI contacting me, and then I turned around and I said, oh, guys, fellas, hey, regular Joe people, humans, can we just smoke some meats? And then I had the NSA saying, you need to ban people for sharing memes. Woe is me. I'm just little Mark Zuckerberg. I'm just a little, spare me, spare me. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Fuck you.
That's part of it. I mean, I don't know exactly how it all works out, but they did release some of the documents, and it looks like there was major pressure applied by the Biden White House to silence certain things they did not like. So this is part one now of the Facebook files, not to be confused with the Twitter files, but it is posted on Twitter, or X now, as it's called.
Oh, that's so stupid. I hate saying X. I'm fine with the X app being the everything app. Sorry, Blake, I'm taking you off track. Just pause for one moment. Humor me. I didn't get to say it yesterday because you kind of led the Twitter story. I didn't really retort, but it's a big screw up. Whoa, look at the guy broadcasting from his house. Oh, he knows everything. Yeah, why don't you tell Elon how to run his business, Mr. Tough Guy? Okay, fine. But there should have stayed Twitter Classic. Twitter should have remained an entity in and of itself and just keep it stripped down. Keep it as is. But then you roll out the X app and you allow people to choose to migrate over. Let them decide to migrate over, because the X app isn't just what Twitter Classic provides. We also do banking. We also bore holes through the fucking earth and shoot rockets to the moon. Cool beans. And over time, as X becomes awesome, people move over and migrate. But Twitter Classic should have remained Twitter Classic. You paid the money you paid. No, we're going to send a tweet on X. Do you know how stupid that sounds? It's not even a thing. I'm going to send an X. What? Twitter Classic should have remained Twitter Classic, and Twitter Classic should be a component inside of the X app. I know he's trying to rebrand. I know that he's lost all the crazy libs anyway. So the rebrand doesn't matter. You're not going to get the people. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I don't want to completely derail the subject of today's show, but why get rid of Twitter Classic? You bought the name. Twitter's the #1 brand. You bought the brand. Hey, I took over Ford. Now we're going to be called Derptader. Oh, cool, Derptader. There's no brand recognition of Derptader, but yes, Ford, we've known for 100 years or however many years. Like, I don't know. That agree or disagree with that, Blake?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced yet on the app. I don't like the tabs. I don't like the color scheme. I don't like the logo. It's a little confusing, but I mean, I'm assuming I'll get used to it. I don't quite trust that much power held in his hands, because I know I did talk about how he wants this to be the everything app like they do for WeChat in China, but that's an authoritarian communist regime that wants to control every aspect of their lives. And as much as I like Elon, I don't know if I want to trust him with that much power and information over everything we do. And I'm not sure I would trust the government. So I don't know which is worse here.
By the way, Kenneth in the chat room on the YouTube. By the way, follow us, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. That's because the old American media has failed you. Kenneth types in that. I can't share it because it's not on here, but it says, can I buy one of your dirt ditters?
Yes.
I would like a 4-door dirt ditter. Anyway, please continue. Just
all-wheel drive dirt ditter.
I would like an extended cab dirt ditter, please. Extra dirt ditter, but hold the dirt ditter. Okay, cool.
We just had billions of dollars to just throw away on stuff. Yeah, good times. But okay, let's get back to the latest Twitter files, or Facebook files on Twitter.
Look at this, Blake. Sorry, one more thing.
Yeah,
Jocelyn is suggesting maybe Zuckerberg should rebrand Threads to be called Twitter. It's open. The domain is available. I mean, it's not, but like, there you go. Then maybe people will accidentally show up and pay attention. Nobody's using Threads, which anyway.
Right. They've already lost 70% of their activity already. So
yeah, that feels about right.
It's hard to. I mean, Twitter's been that good. I mean, there's been so many knockoffs and nothing has caught on. Maybe Truth Social to some extent, but I don't even really use that. I have enough problems on it, and I don't want to be in my own little bubble. I like with, being around the whole variety of people, even if it's people I disagree with.
You enjoy sparring with leftoids?
To some extent, I try to hold back these days because I feel that really hurts me in the algorithms. I think I've been,
But I think if you read the algorithms, I think even rage reactions to stuff you post, I think that positively helps boost you in the rankings. That's my understanding.
Maybe. Well, and now when I have to troll, I have to do the frame the retweet thing, because if I just comment on somebody's post, so some shit lib, starts talking shit, and I come up with the perfect zinger on his feed, it won't show up. You won't see it. I'll see it on my end. I'll think, oh, I burned this guy, but then it's not getting any activity. But then I'll pull up my second account, and then I'll notice that my reply is hidden under, show more replies. So they hide a lot of my content.
Oh, like show offensive tweets. Yeah, I get that a lot. And it's like, show offensive tweets. I go, okay, I'm never not going to click this button, you idiots. I click it, and it says like, yeah, chicken noodle soup did that did provide me a sense of calm and peace when I was feeling a little under the weather in 3rd grade. You're like, what the fuck was what was offensive about that? And maybe it's just they've tagged that person as having offensive tweets, so they just hide that person's replies in general. I don't know how all the mechanics. You lift, Blake. That's why you go to a repair shop. You lift the hood on your dirt and you say, it's making this noise. I'm typing a tweet, and I don't know how it works, because you check out my dirt, and they go, okay. Let's just make sound effects the rest of today's episode.
Yeah. Like an Andy Kaufman gag. We'll just sit here for 3 hours, and people will be like, I wonder if they're going to stop.
Me and my friend. Okay.
Like, nope, I'm just going to keep going.
Elementary school, I literally used to have phone conversations with my buddy. I mean, just making noises and just laughing hysterically. We had one of those really long corded phones. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I'm carbon dating myself. I'd wrap around and I just crack and making stupid noises for hours. Someone would pick up the phone upstairs. Oh, what a mistake. You think it was weird when you pick up the phone and catch the late 1990s internet? That's kind of what we were doing for hours at a time. So yeah, Blake, I think maybe on April Fool's Day, let's pencil it in. We should just do an episode of silly noises next April 1st, 2024.
Right, the 8-hour marathon.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so getting back to the relaunch now of all of these Facebook documents. Here we go. Smoking gun proves Facebook was censoring Americans because of Biden White House pressure. Never before released internal documents subpoenaed by the Judiciary Committee prove that Facebook and Instagram censored posts and changed their content moderation policies because of unconstitutional pressure from the Biden White House. So this was during the first half of 2021. Facebook faced tremendous pressure, both publicly and privately, to crack down on supposed misinformation. And let's see, we'll just get into, let me show a couple of the highlights. One of the first things they were absolutely freaking out about, they got an email. Nick Clegg, Facebook's president for global affairs, informed his team at Facebook that Andy Slavitt, he's a senior advisor to President Biden, was outraged that Facebook did not remove a particular post. And what it was this meme of DiCaprio in, the well-known meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Is that the name? Showing, basically like a pharmaceutical ad, worried about the COVID vaccines and how the future would play that out. You may be entitled to compensation. And yes, Brian, if some of the side effects, adverse reactions, myocarditis, and many other things are dying suddenly,
blood clots,
we could see a lot of things happen someday. So it was a funny meme, and you're also trying to share that with your friends and family on Facebook, but they were pulling it down. And Brian, of course, you got smacked for showing the Hunter Biden meme of him in his underwear.
Oh yeah, I've been smacked in silence 30 days at a time, 60 days at a time. They loved shutting me down during the election in 2020, air quote election. That I don't know what you want to call that, but you cannot call it an election. I shared it was when the compromised Chinese government stooge who's been installed in a coup of the United States named Joe Biden and his administration. They allowed a Chinese spy balloon to fly over Alaska and then down the coast and then across the United States over sensitive military installations the whole time. Remember that? It's almost as if our country's been overthrown. And so I shared a meme, and it was a silly meme. It was like multicolored balloons, similar to like It, the clown, but he's just holding a singular red balloon, right?
Right.
It wasn't 99 red balloons like that song, but it was like multicolored balloons, if I remember the meme correctly. And it was that degenerate criminal Hunter Biden in his boxers or his tighty whities. What do you have? He has glasses on and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, or a crack pipe hanging out of his mouth, or something.
Yep.
He was just holding balloons, and he was floating through the sky. It was just silly because it's combining stories about the Hunter corruption and lawlessness, and the Biden family allowing China to spy on us, and it was Hunter holding the balloons. We got flagged for oh God, what was the exact verbiage? I've said it before. adult sexual exploitation. Exploitation. Literally the thing that Hunter was doing with prostitutes on his verifiably true laptop that he willingly turned over by being a junkie degenerate to that guy in, where was that, New Jersey or whatever. They said that me sharing that picture was exploiting this man who's exploited more prostitutes and underage people than you could probably, if we had an 8-hour show, an 8-hour marathon, Blake, like you said, of just making dirt noises.
Yeah.
I don't know that we could list the amount of people who Hunter Biden is sexually exploited in 8 hours. But I got zapped. I got zucked. My channel was disabled. I couldn't communicate because I shared a picture of him in his tighty whities. It wasn't his junk wasn't flapping around. There was nothing to it. It was his photo. It was him, not doctored. His literal photo. And they said I was exploiting.
Yeah, this is it.
Don't show it, Blake. They're gonna do it again.
Well, no, it's not on Facebook. What are you worried about? And that was just him with
streaming
the
to
balloon.
Facebook temporarily.
But I mean, yeah, everybody's seen this picture, and then so they just made a silly meme out of it.
Still took it down, and they'll still take it down again because they're evil, and they're anti-American, and they're trying to destroy this nation. So
they're also facing major pressure against the White House to go after stuff. So when even the Facebook's Clegg countered with the White House that removing content like that would represent a significant incursion into traditional boundaries of free expression, that this Biden advisor Slavitt, he disregarded the warning and the First Amendment. So he was saying that meme was bad because it's comparing COVID vaccines to asbestos poisoning, which undermines the confidence in the vaccine that the Biden administration is trying to reach. They wanted everyone to get that to avoid the dark winter of death or what have you.
Well, you know what? I don't give a shit what they're trying to promote. It's not up to them to sell a pharmaceutical project. There were plenty of therapeutic options available, and those were squashed because they were trying to push one particular product. You must buy a dirt-der, or else you may not drive on the roads. You must buy a dirt-der or nothing else. No other vehicles may apply here. And frankly, that is kind of what this administration is doing with electric vehicles. Let's be fair, because China owns the market on the batteries, and China owns this Biden puppet regime who overthrew the United States in a coup in 2020. That being said, I don't know where I was going with that other than just
it's all right, but there's a lot of manipulation going on behind the scenes at Facebook that we didn't know about until today. It's beneficial. So
I knew about.
Well, we assumed, but we didn't actually have the smoking gun evidence. I never heard of Andy Slavitt until today.
And by the way, this Andy Slavitt, he said, well, you know, this represents a dangerous breach in our protocol. Bullshit. Like, prove that you said that. I don't buy that for a fucking second. That's what his attorney is telling him to type. He wrote it out at note cards in the interview, or, you know, I will provide you a written statement that you can use for your story. There's no way he said that. Oh, look, I was, you know, how Jordan Peterson, he talks about this all the time, 1930s Germany. And, you know, when we read history books, it's like, who do you read the history books as? And you go, well, are you a bad guy or a good guy? You're like, no, I'd be the good guy. It's like, well, how did all these people get wrapped up in that? You're like, I would never get wrapped up in that. I would have been the guy standing up to those mean old people with those symbols on their jerseys. Okay, sure you would have, pal. Sure. Everybody likes to think of themselves as the hero. And I strongly catch a whiff of revisionist history with that comment there. I forget how it was exactly phrased, but well, and I responded by saying that would represent a dangerous foray into our safety and protocol and protection of data and user information. Bullshit. I just don't buy it, Blake. I don't think he really said that. Now, he may have actually. I don't know. I'm just not buying it because I saw what happened. I saw my channel get zapped. I saw my ability to communicate with people get zapped. I experienced it over and over. It was par for the course. So I don't want to hear any crocodile tears or witness any crocodile tears or read any lawyer statements from these snakes. They are monsters at Meta. The meta monsters.
Well, yeah, they're infiltrated with feds, and they hire a lot of these former CIA people or what have you, and they have been meddling with stuff for a long time. But yes, they're also under pressure from the. It's interesting to for them to kind of put the blame there. So we'll see how it plays out. This is just day one. So now the secret's uncovered. And it wasn't the first time the Biden White House was angry that Facebook didn't censor more. According to the documents, Biden White House demanded to know why Facebook had also not censored a video from Tucker Carlson. And then Facebook prepped a response. And to appease the Biden White House, they had talking points. And they had to tell the White House, they had demoted a video posted by Tucker Carlson by 50% in response to the White House's demands, even though the post did not violate any policies. So.
And remember, let's remember that Meta, that Instagram recently got busted for all of their abuse back channels, all of the content, all of the creepy content going around for the pedos. And you remember the quotes coming out earlier when Elon bought Twitter. He's like, I didn't buy a social media site. Or maybe it wasn't him. It was a tribute. I forget where the quote came from, but the sentiment was he didn't buy a social media site. He bought a crime scene. All of that pedo stuff being shared in private groups and the back channels and private messages, direct messages. These people are who we thought they were. And they always have been.
Yeah.
Dangerous monsters.
Well, it's good to watch them finally being exposed. We've been waiting for this. We've been hoping for the Twitter files. That was great. And then we were looking to see if maybe we get the same stuff out of Facebook or YouTube. So this is finally so Jim Jordan, the committee, they put the pressure on. And they found out that Biden administration has indeed abused its powers to coerce Facebook into censoring Americans. And only after the committee announced its intention to hold Zuckerberg in contempt did Facebook produce any internal documents to the committee. So to prove that there's government pressure for censorship. And based on Facebook's newfound commitment to fully cooperate with the investigation, the committee has decided to hold contempt in abeyance for now. So, and then to be continued.
All right.
Hey, here's Elon Musk with the exclamation point. It's great stuff. So this is a nice little bombshell development today.
Good. Let's follow this. Blake. Let's stay on top of this.
For sure.
And by the way, that could include doing the occasional show outside of Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time when we do the Agree to Disagree show. Waiting 4 days to do another show. It's always so brutal. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's like, oh, I got to talk more. I can't just sit around doing nothing.
Brian could do a 5-hour show every day of the week, probably. No exaggeration.
Probably.
Probably.
I really do have to rein things in, and I do a decent job at it. But anyway, okay, so that's that story. We're going to keep our eyes peeled on that. I want to switch over to this one. I guess, Blake, how long do we have you for? So I can kind of.
I got about 10 more minutes, 15 maybe.
All right, well, let's go to this next story real.
Shows.
All right, let's go to this next story real quick. It's important. A very well-known person left the earth, and I just wanted to put some perspective on that. All right, there it is. And by the way, just thank you for everybody in the chat room participating. We appreciate it. Hello, Jane Meyer. Hello, gents, she says. Jocelyn saying Snowden blew the whistle when Clapper lied to Congress, and now Snowden is in Russia. Meanwhile, Clapper silently running UFO disclosure. Mention Snowden and you'll be flagged. Oh, is that true? Snowden, 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 dirt, 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 Snowden. Dirt, 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 Snowden. Let's just say Snowden 1,000 times. You post Hunter and his tidy whities, and I'm saying Snowden, Snowden, Snowden. Anyway, I digress.
Off the rail today. It's in rare form today, Brian.
Who's off the rail? Me or you? Me.
Mostly you today, but maybe I'll go off the rails next time.
Jocelyn says it should be illegal to censor anything on social media platforms. If private companies want complete control over their companies, then don't create a privatized public square. Amen, Jocelyn. Amen. Okay, so I want to get to this one. Sinead O'Connor has passed away at the ripe age of
Hello from
56.
Twitch. Yes.
Who's on Twitch?
Valves, by the way. Hello, welcome.
Howdy. Hi, Brian. Glad to meet you. Hello, Mr. GC. Who are you? Do you know me? No, great to meet you. I don't know. How'd you find us, Mr. GC? There's another one. Cool. New faces, new names. I appreciate it. Which ones are our handlers, Blake? Which ones are our handlers? By the way, check out the Muse song "Handlers." They write entire albums about the deep state and MK Ultra and alien conspiracies, the exopolitics. Check out Muse. They're one of the best bands you really need to do a deep dive on. But I wanted to talk about this, Blake. Do you agree or disagree that musician Sinead O'Connor was a martyr? Now, I know you didn't put this story in the stacks. I don't expect you to maybe have an opinion, but I mean, what do we know about Sinead O'Connor? On MTV, she sang a weird song and then she ripped up the Pope. And then she was like excommunicated. She was just driven out, kind of like Dixie Chicks style. They're not French fries, they're freedom fries. America. Sinead was pretty much excommunicated after that.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. She kind of disappeared. I don't, I wasn't a huge fan of that song. It was all right. And then she made the SNL appearance, got into a bit of trouble. I thought it was a great tweet from Rob Schneider talking about the that night, because
Rob Schneider is a carrot.
Yep. He said he didn't see it happen. It was an episode. He was very busy, a lot of sketches. And there are moves that performers have where they know they can get laughs. And he was backstage getting changed for another sketch. Didn't know anything had happened. He came out during the next sketch and he just knew like the audience had changed. And he said his usual physical moves that got laughs fell silent. No sketches got laughs after that. And the rest of the night was eerily quiet. And it wasn't until the end of the show that Rob learned that Sinead had tore up a picture of the Pope. He didn't realize it at the time that it would be a big controversy. And he spent time with her at the after party at the Tea Garden, and she was gentle and lovely and didn't seem to have a worry about anything. They laughed about things, tried to understand each other's accents, and had a drink, and she could not have been lovelier. All these years later, you realize that fame and all that comes with it is very destructive to gentle souls. It is my sincere hope that the peace that eluded Sinead in life, she can have now, resting in God's embrace.
That's well said. I like that. And, Rob Schneider's really had a glow up lately. He was one of the least funny people on the,
no, there's some good stuff. I thought he was really
he had a couple of characters.
Come on.
He's been in a couple of movies, but stacked up against the comedic legends around him, he was the other guy. He was just like the zany little guy that making guppies, Caparino, Blankenmeister, making guppies. But it's like the writing was so bad. It's like, okay, the joke.
That was like the golden age of SNL, at least for me. The Phil Hartman years and Adam Sandler. Mike Myers, Carvey, God, those are the great years. And even I got to give credit to Al Franken. It's one of the head writers. They did all the absurdity. That was great. were the best years. I know the 70s are probably the best years, but the early 90s.
Remember all those?
80s.
Remember all those It's Pat segments?
Yeah.
Yeah, try making that today. It's a golden age, but like they were always a couple writers short of really making it pop. They had a good premise, they had a good couple of jokes, but then it just dragged on for 4 minutes, and you're like, you hire
like
some
the juice. Yeah, and they would drag. I had a dream I was in this really lame sketch that kept going on and on. Yes. No, there were so many classics from that era. So no, I got to disagree with you, Brian.
Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer.
That was genius. Yes. There was just so many. I think that's a lot of the Phil Hartman genius as well as the Al Franken.
Look, I'm a fan. You got Chris Rock coming from there. You got Dana Carvey, Mike Myers. These are like heavyweight. legends. But anyway, I just wanted to play this clip here real quick, just to give it hindsight, as Sinead O'Connor leaves. Yes, she was a troubled soul. She battled issues, and but I stumbled across this clip, and I want to give her some props. She was destroyed.
Copyright. Yep. Don't get us shut down.
No, I'm playing a clip in fair use. I don't give a shit.
When you tore the Pope's picture up on Saturday Night Live, whose picture were you tearing up?
She raises her hand.
The Pope's.
I mean, what did the Pope represent to you?
Interestingly, what people don't know is that, first of all, we in Ireland knew 10 years before you all did about child abuse within the Catholic Church. We had evidence.
By the way, let me just pause there, because if you pause a couple times, it's fair use. They knew in Ireland for more than 10 years about the child abuse. Let me just play that part one more time, because why did she hate the Pope enough to rip up that? You know what? I think she's got a damn fine reason. And I wish I would have understood this about her so I could have defended her more. But, I was, 10 years old?
First of all, we in Ireland knew 10 before you all did about child abuse within the Catholic Church. We had evidence. The photo itself had been on my mother's bedroom wall all my life. I was genuinely very angry with what the church were doing. By ripping that picture, I risked my career, everything. I could be a billionaire now if I wanted, if I believed in it. You know what I mean? But I don't. But I know what you're getting at, and yes, this didn't occur to me until about 6 months ago. It's my father.
Did you know you were going to do it when you went on?
Insights.
So I had planned it for a couple of weeks. At the very end, I pull out the picture of the Pope and tear it up. Sigh.
Threw it at the camera.
There you go. That's exactly what Rob Schneider is, a carrot. That's exactly what Rob Schneider was saying. Silence. All the jokes that usually landed, they stopped landing.
Silence.
Threw it at the camera.
Silence. Everywhere. It was fantastic.
So what
It was fantastic.
Roger vanished for about 3 days. He went to his hotel, just unplugged the phone. About 10 years after that I don't remember, because that's when it became acceptable and it became the norm that I was treated by everyone I knew, from family to everyone, like I was an absolutely insane, crazy person.
See, and she was eclectic. She was eccentric. She did. I believe she had chemical dependency issues that she had battled. But all that being said, to be ostracized the way that she was, because she was angry at the Pope for allowing child abuse. And look, she's leaving the earth at a time when Sound of Freedom is #1 in the box office. Sound of Freedom beat out Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible. Sound of Freedom had more ticket sales last week than their first week. Look, the world has turned. I wish Sinead could have done that today, but maybe it takes somebody 3 decades ahead of the curve to kind of to kind of light that little spark that turns into the raging wildfire of truth, Blake.
Yeah, it sure did. And that was the days before social media, and there weren't so many other shows. So that was your only time to make that statement. And obviously that meant a lot to her, but it was shocking for a lot of people. And then, it took a while for the horrors of the Catholic abuse to come out into the public, and that was damning. But so I guess she was kind of vindicated to some point in the end, but we didn't get the context at the time. I don't know. I don't remember what I thought. I remember I was there. I wasn't as outraged. I think I was even in Catholic school at the time, but I just wasn't all that much of a believer in everything, but I didn't know all of that stuff, and I didn't have to, firsthand witness any of those horrors, but some people did. There was a massive scandals and cover-ups going on, and the abuse of children.
Never acceptable. Never acceptable. I'm glad she did it. I just wish I could have defended her more in the moment, because I didn't really understand what I know now. So I just want the record to state that Sinead O'Connor was ahead of her time, and at least that moment was appreciated. It wasn't as taboo and horrific as we thought. The stuff that the Pope and the Catholic Church were allowing was horrific and had no place in society. Needed to be dredged out from the sewer and treated as the chemical waste that it is. So anyway, just wanted the record to state that. Rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. And as Rob Schneider said, may you find peace in, how did he phrase that? May you find peace in the afterlife.
Yes, I sincere hope that the peace that eluded Sinead in life, she can have now, resting in God's embrace.
All right, so rest in peace, Sinead. We got a couple stories. We're going to do rapid fire. Next topic. Blake Walley. Feds should drop charges against Sam Bankman-Fried for procedural failings. Mr. Walley.
I'm going to
Wrong!
disagree. Right. Yeah, this dude's getting away with quite a lot for that, but there is a possibility that he is working a deal somewhere. So I mean, maybe they can drop some of the charges somewhere, do something as long as he goes after some of the other bad actors in crypto. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but it seems like he's basically bribed the Democratic Party by putting so much money in them that they've found a way to drop one of the charges at least. They're calling it a procedural failing. So the feds dropped a campaign finance charge and Democratic donor due to a procedural failing. A 30-year-old Democrat darling, super donor, spent more than $40 million to fund the midterms with his Ponzi scheme through the crypto exchange that he founded.
Unbelievable.
FTX, yeah. And up to $2 billion missing. So he was the second biggest donor, and he was funneling money through Ukraine, and that money sent to Ukraine was in turn used to fund the Democrats.
Oh my God. Can this get any more obvious? They all need to get arrested. This is an overthrow of the United States. This is a coup. This is a corrupt, illegitimate regime, Blake. This is insane. And who was the other biggest donor to the Democrat Party? Wasn't it the LinkedIn guy?
Who? Oh, yeah, that creepy pedo guy, allegedly, maybe, probably, because he was hanging out at Epstein's Island hanging out with Epstein after he was already convicted. Yeah, I gave $700,000 to Biden. Yeah, so it seems to be for presidential protection, as they say, or as I say. But yeah, if you get close to the Washington Uniparty, they will protect you every time, as they dropped one of the charges. She certainly got a lot more. The word is that they might be working a deal. So maybe he's going after Binance or going after some of the other dirty players in the crypto industry, and it is full of dirty players.
Do you not like Binance? Is Binance no good?
I'm not saying anything particularly against it, but it seems like there's some things that need to be looked at. And a lot of these,
they're good because their fees are lower. I don't know much about it, but
yeah, the fees were certainly lower. They were they're the biggest exchange
because of the
they
fee.
were by far. And then, or is it FTX? Or FTX is gone now. Now it's going to be Coinbase. But Binance is huge because they offered a variety. They had, a variety of different things, plus, lower fees, which was big. But I think there's a regular Binance, and then there's a Binance US, which is scaled down. But they're having some issues, and there might be something going on with one of their stable coins, and perhaps also manipulation of their Binance chain, enriching themselves by just printing out money, or manipulating different things, or intermingling customer funds. There could be a lot of the same things that FTX went down for going over at Binance. I'm not 100%. I'm not that close to it. But if you guys want to cover that or find that story and follow up on these things in Crypto Matters, this is a great account to follow at Autism Capital. And they were huge, mega super fans of Sam Bankman-Fried, but now they're doing some great investigative journalism, pointing out a lot of the weird things going on surrounding that case. They also mentioned Sinead O'Connor. I won't get into too much. I know there's videos of just showing him out and about, like he's making a deal somewhere. So, he did some really awful things, and he deserves to spend a lot of time in jail for that. He certainly shouldn't be managing anybody's money anymore. But if he can strike some deals somewhere, I think he should get some leniency. We shall see. And fleshing out more bad actors. So here we go. Tweet here. Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX having a federal campaign contribution charge dropped because it would incriminate too many of their preferred politicians.
Oh my
going into the
God.
2024
Again.
election.
Will it ever stop, Blake? Will we ever get some justice in this country?
I don't know. It's
God.
very slow. It's does not happen quickly like we'd like. And if you pay enough money to these people, they will protect you. And that's where we have an issue.
Big issue. All right, we'll keep our eyes peeled on it. He's still charged with a bunch of things. They just took some off the table now.
Pretty much.
All right, Blake, agree or disagree here? You said you talked with Mike Barra about this, and I know it's not in our stack, but UFO biologics have been recovered. Do you agree or disagree with that whistleblower testimony?
I'm sure that they've discovered stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of hidden secrets or whatever, wherever they're hiding it, at the Pentagon or Area 51 or any of the major military installations or underground, who knows?
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio is a major hub. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of these places. So, going back to, Roswell and whatever they recovered at that site. I don't know if there were alien bodies there as well, but I doubt they're ever going to disclose this stuff to the public. And
I would recommend to people, since I brought up the band Muse, check out the song Exopolitics. When the Zetas feel the skies, will our leaders tell us why? It's about the alien invasion. It's awesome. Exopolitics by Muse. Check it out. I'd play it if I had the licensing, but I don't. So Anyway, we have to cover this because you got Clapper in the background pulling the puppet strings. If there's one thing to make you suspicious, it's having Clapper involved, since he's just a known propagandist, a traitorous liar. A creep.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, let me try to maybe I can pull up a couple of tweets from Mike Barra. It's impromptu. Let's see if we can.
You tell Mike that I was his hype man today. I was rocking to get people to start watching his program, your program with him.
Says the UFO hearing was like listening to your high school buddy describe his hot model girlfriend who lives in a different state but has no pictures of her because she's shy. That's a retweet. He says, I don't care about. Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. So the supposed whistleblower David Grush asks the direct questions about alien spacecraft and bodies and reveals nothing. Everything can be revealed behind closed door settings. He has zero firsthand knowledge and is not a whistleblower. And here's one of these things. He's Mike Barra. That should be the end of Knapp and Corbell. Is it me or is it that James Clapper at the hearing? If not, he's a doppelganger, but that definitely is him. That's what Mike Barra is saying. UFO hearings lost all credibility with AOC on the committee. Knapp and Corbell lost all credibility by sitting next to Clapper, a flat-out traitor. And as he predicted that this was all going to be a joke. And here it is. You got these two goofballs. So AOC. And what's this guy's name? I keep forgetting him. I didn't no idea who he was, but now he's been showing up everywhere with that stupid do-rag.
Oh, that weirdo. Yeah, where's he from? Jersey or something?
I don't remember.
California?
Yeah,
he looks like the actor, like a Van Zant from Sopranos. Didn't that guy always wear a bandana?
Commander Fravor.
I don't remember.
I would say
I didn't see a whole lot of the Sopranos. Those were my did not have HBO for many of those years, but could be.
Kenneth B is saying he's a Mike Barra fan over here. Kenneth B, does B stand for Barra? Are you his cousin? Have you infiltrated our show? Kenneth B, could it be Kenneth Barra? I don't know. We'll never know. Kenneth B, that kind of rhymes. He likes wordplay as well. AOC you later. Jocelyn says she finds herself agreeing with Mike. And Dreamer Ultra saying they F up everything that they touch. All right. Speaking of people that F up everything that they touch, Mitch McConnell had a weird moment yesterday, Blake. Should he step down for health and term limits?
Oh, yeah. I agree. It's time. He froze.
Do you have a clip of that, by the way?
Let's see if it's on there. It should. Yeah.
I mean,
CNN McConnell clearly had some kind of neurological event. The 81-year-old Senate Minority Leader face planted while getting off a plane 12 days ago. And now this was
12 days ago? I heard it was back in March.
No. he almost fell off a plane 12 days ago.
Oh,
and
God.
now he has this. This is what happened to him yesterday. People saying that he looks like he had a mild stroke.
Oh, but this version doesn't have him saying what he said at the beginning. He's like mid-sentence.
Yeah, so it kind of starts up there. He appeared completely out of it during a press conference, freezing up, staring into space for about half a minute before aides ushered him away from the podium. So maybe we can...
Yeah, there we go. And a string of
and then crashed. His system just crashed. I know there was
then he had a wobble and then another wobble.
And then people went, wait a second, something's wrong. It must have taken a while. Like, why is he pausing? And then you got to like check with him.
And you got to understand that like these people are standing behind him and off to the side. They can't really see forward. They don't really see what he's seeing. We saw that ESPN reporter during a soccer match. You know, he kind of did one of these wobbly things, and the other reporter who was looking at him, he turned around to see, oh, are you looking at something over my shoulder? What's that? And by the time he looked back, the guy fell in front of him, and he tried to catch him, but it was too late. So, you know, I hate Mitch McConnell. I live in Kentucky. I cannot stand this guy. I don't want to see any. I mean, I don't know. I just, right. I don't want to be mean.
Not like that.
But
yeah,
it's time for him to go. He's obviously incapable. He's incapacitated.
Yeah, and he's been a poster boy for term limits for a long time. So it's time to go. Apparently, they got to move him around in a wheelchair, especially when there's a crowd around. So his health is failing. He's 81 years old. It's time for him. Yeah, he should have stepped down a long time ago.
And wrapping up the show, Blake, speaking of stepping down a long time ago, I hate that little Ronnie D. Ooh, I don't know, guys. I got some OJ purple stuff. Ooh, Ronnie D. Yeah, let's all have Ronnie D, said the GOP, said the rhinos, said the fake Republicans, said the globalists, and the United States in general yawned and said, nah, we're good, bro. Ron DeSantis had the unique opportunity to unite the Republican Party in opposition to this Democrat shit show. He failed miserably. He didn't defend President Trump with this illegal lawfare attacks that he's suffering in New York and elsewhere. And he really crapped the bed. He had a chance to be the heir apparent to President Trump, and his poll numbers are tanking. The episode that we produced on Tuesday was called Collapsed Suddenly, both athletes and Ron DeSantis's polls. So what do you say here? Agree or disagree that DeSantis should end his presidential campaign after he had all of these staff layoffs?
I'm going to disagree. I want him to keep continuing.
Loves
I want him to waste as much of the neocon money as possible. So
Blake, that's the only point I was trying to get to, and I got sidetracked on the Biden thing because I started ranting and I forgot what I was going to say, but now I just remembered. The only bad thing about getting rid of Biden now is that he's so easy to destroy in the 2024 election. Don't bring in, Gavin Newsom or somebody fresh that doesn't have a record, that a batting average, failures to reach the Mendoza line in baseball. Like, we know he sucks. He doesn't belong in the major leagues. He's a minor league stiff. Well, this guy comes in, well, traded from such and such team. He's a fresh face. Let's get him up there to take a few swings. There's nobody on the Democrats bench. But if they put in, who are they going to go with? They're going to go with Gavin Newsom probably, or not RFK. They hate RFK more than they hate Bernie because the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans. They're both evil. They're both terrible. They're both anti-American. They both don't care about you on Main Street. They're selling you out. They're traitors. That being said, you want to keep him in to suck up as much of the rhino money as possible. I get that point.
All right. Yeah, that's the only point I can make. But yes, otherwise it's collapsing. He's laid off a third of his staff. Not going so well. But Brian and everybody, I got to go. Unfortunately, it's that time. But it's been delightful, and I look forward to doing it again next week. We'll also be on the Power Trio tomorrow night, getting more in depth into the whole alien thing with Mike Barra, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Please follow me, TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, and the archive is always on thenextlevelnews.com. Thank you so much, Brian. You can carry us out and keep covering or whatever you got to do, but it's my time to go.
Thank you, Blake. And just tell us one more time, where do they follow the Power Trio live? How do they find? They can find
TV's Blake Walley on
Right.
Twitter. Yep, there we go. All right, follow it on Twitter. You'll see it. All right, guys, take care. Gotta go.
There he goes, Blake Walley. Everybody, make sure you follow him on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley. And the Next Level News. Wow, what an episode! Where's Bob Lazar when you need him? I mean, he's got some interesting stories, doesn't he? Bob Lazar. Yeah, I addicted, enthralled with the Ancient Aliens series. This guy. When the series came out, what was that? History Channel, Learning TLC, History Channel, maybe History Channel. When that series came out, I mean, it connected so many dots for me. Raised a Christian, a deep understanding of, what the holy book that I was guided to read and get taught, educated with in Sunday school, and later years in the service. Baptist, Reformed, Protestant, Lutheran. I've been to all sorts of different churches. Never Catholic. I went once and I was like, I don't. Why are we doing this in Latin? Latin? I mean, you might as well do it in, I don't know. What's the language they speak in Star Trek? Is that a language? I don't know. Might as well speak in something out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Elven. I forget the names of all these goofy things, but why are we talking in Latin? I went to that Catholic mass. I'm just like, I didn't get anything out of this. But at least when you went to some of these other churches I went to, good stories, good interactions. And I remember, my pastor be like, and it was very folksy, very homey, very laid back and stripped down so that the masses could understand it. And that's the point that it's supposed to be, at least in my mind. Not just believing blindly in the canon of this book that was concocted and edited down during the Council of Nicaea and Constantine. It's about the stories and the general purpose. And, the pastor would be like, I was at a family barbecue this weekend and, got to talking with so-and-so, and he had this problem he was going through. And it got me thinking about this piece of scripture, and it was about a way of relating common situations to, some guidance. If you find yourself in a similar situation, what does the scripture say? Well, the scripture says this. And so I've always had that as a core component of how I was raised and what I believed. And I've been a student of history for a long time and trying to make sense of the world and the history that's been lost, the history that, the Council of Nicaea may have edited away, or the lost libraries underneath the paw at the Sphinx in Egypt, all these stories, and you don't exactly know what's what. Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, all of these previous civilizations that may or may not have existed and may or may not have destroyed themselves. Fascinated by all this. And just kind of thinking maybe we are the aliens. Maybe we are the life force that was brought here. What do they say? The Pleiades galaxy? Okay, maybe it's the Pleiades, and that's where humanity came from. I don't know. It's hard to be definitive and tell you what's what. When I was 16, 17, I knew everything. I knew it all. There wasn't a single thing that I did not understand completely. And I could give you a dissertation on it. I was right. You need to listen. Now I've got a few years of wisdom under my belt. And I'm like, I don't know. We're all just guessing here, right? But when the Ancient Aliens theory came out, it really connected a lot of dots that were missing. I mean, all of these beings from the heavens descending in chariots of fire. And you're like, that's a spacecraft. And it's not just the Bible, it's the Bhagavad Gita. It's all of these different philosophies and religions and historical texts. By the way, that's such a weird word to say. Texts. 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 Way too many syllables for a word like that. Texts. Don't bring your cat in the room because I'm going. Keep your dog and your cat out of the room because I'm talking about texts. Anyway. I love the ancient alien theories. I love the television shows. I love the ancient monuments and the scriptures and the writings and the hieroglyphics and the tombs and I love all of that. So I guess part of me has always just assumed that either we are the alien force on this planet, or that it's everywhere. It's all out there. You like Mulder and Scully. I want to believe in the X-Files. I want to believe. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I just it made so much sense when it just started connecting together, and it connected a lot of dots for me. So I've never been mistrustful, distrusting. I've never been as skeptical of alien participation on Earth. I, for a long time, just assumed that's the way it is. In fact, a project I'm working on called Moon Saloon may or may not involve subject matter such as people who are pretending to be your leaders in finance and government and corporations. They appear in religion. They appear to be human, but they're not. They may or may not be alien or robot. So it's a subject matter. It's a subject. The subject matter is something that I really I'm drawn to. So when I saw the UFO hearing, I was like, okay, interesting. Wow, they're really pulling this out now to distract and take attention away from Hunter Biden. My God, it must be really bad. So finally, McCarthy, after waiting, well, I mean, not that McCarthy's been the speaker for 2.5 years, but all this time later, we're finally getting around to impeaching Joe Biden, the most easily impeachable usurper who's ever slithered into seize control of that office at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's been the easiest layup you've ever seen to impeach this guy, dead to rights. In his own words, he's self-incriminated himself. He's self-incriminated. He told on himself. He busted himself. So when this UFO hearing came out, did I want to believe it? I don't know that I just watched and I checked out some clips, and then when I saw Clapper sitting behind, I went, "Oh God, no! So this is all fake." Now, just because Clapper's involved doesn't make everything fake. We got to be careful. Our spidey senses and our intuition and our nose for news probably gives us the ability to discern fact from fiction at a much higher percentage than your average bear. Hey, boo-boo. Independent media's a lot smarter than your average bear. I got to work on that accent. Haven't watched that show in years. But that being said, I'm very skeptical now because Clapper's associated with this. It sounds like a big distraction. Shiny object shaking the keys so the baby looks up there and you take its lollipop away while Joe Biden's sniffing the baby for some creepy reason. That's where we are. I would love to just kind of know more, understand more about the true reality of this experience, of this Earth, of this planet, the history of the cosmos, flat Earth, heliocentric solar system. You know, remember Truman Show where he takes the boat out to the end of their universe in the water? I just want to know what's really going on. But God, just having Clapper associated with it puts all of my spidey senses on alert. Anything Clapper touches must be deemed to be a massive psyop, a psychological operation, a false flag, a lie, because that's who he is. He lied to you about the Hunter Biden laptop for political gain, to install this corrupt, child-sniffing, compromised monster, Joe Biden. So if he's back there, one or two people back, it seems, from this UFO testimony, he's just pulling the strings. He's there to remind them, don't stray off script. I wrote it down for you. Make sure you're following along. It's just very heavy-handed in a surreptitious way. It's almost like my presence is here to remind you not to speak the truth that I handed you. It just reeks. James Clapper being involved with the UFO has all the classic earmarks of alphabet agency disinformation. There you go. There's the tweet. I need to say, I'm sorry, there's the X. It's so stupid. You can't say there's the X. There's the tweet. There's the statement. There's the quotation. That's my so-and-so released a statement on X, and his tweet reads, I don't know. We'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, we're going to be covering the story. I'm very interested in it. A lot of topics that we had to cover today. A lot of major stories to get to. But we want to thank you for participating. I love reading your comments. Love reading all this. Dreamer Ultra says the clap is a bag man. Is he now? The clap? I like that. The clap. James Clapper. So the bag man, according to this Oxford dictionary, says, informally, this is an agent who collects or distributes the proceeds of illicit activities. An agent who collects the proceeds of illegal activities, illicit activity. An agent who distributes the proceeds of illicit activities. So he's the bag man. He takes the bag, he gives the bag. Oh, Clapper's a bag man and a bad man. Not in a good way, like, ooh, that guy's bad. No, like, that guy's bad. So, yeah, maybe he is the bag man. But I think him just being around, it should send red flags across everywhere. So I trust that proceeding way less than I did when I was learning about it in the first place before I got a chance to soak some of it up. So anyway, we're going to talk about all these stories. I may or may not go live other times in between, but here's what you need to do. This is what I beg of you all to do. Follow us in all the places. Here are the places. Can you type in the comments, raise your hand and say, yes, I'm following you on Twitter. There you go. On Twitter, type it over there and over here on YouTube and here in the comment section. Are you following the New American Media on Twitter? Our handle is at American_media_. At American_media_. The New American Media. At American_media_. Thanks, Dreamer. He goes, no, I meant that he likes man bags. Thank you for that. I thank you for that. Oh, Dreamer. So that's where we are on Twitter. I'm sorry, on X. Yeah, we got to start saying it, right? On Truth Social, The New American Media. Follow us there because if/when we get banned from YouTube and Facebook again, we need you in all the other places. So go on Truth Social. I'm sure some of you are on there. The New American Media. On X/Twitter. At American_media_. Rumble. Rumble is our YouTube substitute. We're starting to get a little bit of regular viewership. The episodes are all getting north of 20 now. Yes, this is limited numbers. It's not super impressive per se, but like when you've been shadow banned as robustly as we have at the New American Media for so long, you know what? We will grow in slow pieces. We will build the foundation Lego brick by Lego brick. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So Rumble is starting to it's a place that we're growing. So go on Rumble, search The New American Media and follow us on Rumble, please. For you podcast listeners, I'm not much of a podcast guy myself, which is why I've really I've kept it out of what the New American Media does, what TNAM, The New American Media, what TNAM does for so long. But look, we're on Spotify. I haven't figured out how to get us on Apple yet. If any of you know, please send me a text or toss a message in there. I don't know what I need to do, but I'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, on Spotify, the show is called The Agree to Disagree Show. Search it and subscribe to it, please. And watch some episodes. If you don't mind, when you're working, press play. Let some of these just play in the background even. Grab a secondary device and play it on your tablet or on a second phone that you have or on a desktop computer while you're working. Just let it play. We need the numbers. Because we're trying to grow this thing. Every listener can tell 10 more listeners that can tell 10 more listeners. On Facebook, we have a private group. Search, you got to do parentheses, TNAM ', The Agree to Disagree Show, parentheses. So if you do parentheses, TNAMs ', the Agree to Disagree show, you can find us there. And you can subscribe to our private group, or you can ask to join our private group. And they'll say, how'd you find us? Say, been watching your podcast, been watching your show on Rumble, watching you on Twitter, watching you on YouTube, however you find us. Leave a message. Say that you watch shows with myself and Blake. Okay, cool. Then we'll let you in our private group. Things are very active there. Very active. Instagram, we still temporarily have our Instagram, The New American Media. They've removed our ability to share content, and I keep sending them messages. I've received any message saying we violated any terms, but we can't share stories, but we can still post stories for now. So go on Instagram, The New American Media. So I don't know. If I forgot some spots, forgive me. Oh, I guess the thenewamericanmedia.com. That's a really nice one. That's like our core hub. That's the site that we control regardless. I haven't updated it in a long time, but I will. I promise I will. And then, of course, the landmark that we probably spent more time, flagship station, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. I mean, we have 12 years of shows, a lot of interesting interviews. It's all on there for now. So please check that out. youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. So look, I appreciate each and every one of you. Tell a few friends, bring them into the groups, subscribe, follow us in all of the places. Because if YouTube shuts down, we need you to follow us on Twitter. If Twitter goes away, we need you on Rumble. If Rumble goes away, we need you on Truth. Oh, I guess we're also on Telegram, TNAM, TNAM, and then TNAM Chat. And then I think it's the same TNAM Official and then TNAM Chat on Signal. So we're on a bunch of different platforms because we're never going to stop giving you the news, trying to break down what's going on and how we're supposed to process it. What is occurring, who, what, where, when, why, and what should we make of it? That's our role here at the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. Signing out. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. All right, take care. Great weekend. Be safe. Love you. Peace out.